Week 5, the fourth pillar. Welcome back to Giatti Glow, and welcome to Week 5 of our Ikigai journey. I'm Barb Giatti, and I'm glad you're here. Every week we come together to grow and glow, learning to live more fully, more consciously as we glow from the inside out. This is Week 5 of 12 of the Giatti Glow Ikigai podcast series. If you're following along in my 12-week Ikigai book, that's fantastic. If you don't have the book, that's absolutely fine, but you will want something to write with and to write on. If you'd like to get the book, just go to the About section of Giatti Glow wherever you found this podcast, and there will be a link to my 12 Ikigai coach sessions for coaches and individuals book on Amazon. Or you can just go to Amazon and search for Schnarr Coach. That's SCHNARR Coach. Schnarr is my maiden name, and that's what I used for these books. You can support this podcast by buying any of my books, by donating on Buy Me a Coffee, by buying merch at Zazzle.com/JottyGlow, and we now have a Patreon page at Patreon.com/JottyGlowPodcast. The Patreon page has different levels of subscribing, and at the top level, you get free books, gifts, and access to my invite-only Giatti Glow Discord community. Giatti Glow is really growing and glowing. Also, it sure would help me out if you could like, subscribe, and share this podcast. At this stage of the process, many people begin to notice a mix of emotions. There may be excitement about what you are discovering, along with uncertainty about how this all fits into your daily life. You have explored what you love, you have identified your strengths, and reflected on how you want to contribute to the world, and now a very real and important question naturally comes forward. How does this become sustainable? This week, we step into the fourth and final pillar of Ikigai, what you can be paid for. This pillar brings practicality into your purpose. It invites you to explore how your Ikigai can support you financially, not just emotionally or spiritually. This is not about abandoning your values, and it is not about turning everything you care about into a side hustle. Instead, it's about integration. Aligning your Ikigai with financial opportunity means finding ways for your passions, strengths, and contributions to exist alongside stability and security. It's about creating a life where meaning and money are not in conflict, but in conversation. Money does not create purpose on its own. However, financial stability often creates space. Space to breathe, space to choose, space to say yes to work that feels aligned rather than draining. When your livelihood supports your values, life tends to feel more grounded and less fragmented. When Ikigai and income align, sustainability becomes possible. You are no longer living two separate lives, one for meaning and one for survival. Freedom begins to grow as financial security allows you to make choices based on values instead of fear. Growth follows naturally when your work can expand without exhausting you. This pillar is not about chasing wealth. If you want wealth, that's okay though. It's about creating a meaningful livelihood that respects both your inner life and your practical needs. To begin with, it helps reflect on the value of what you already offer. Many people struggle here, especially if they're used to giving freely or minimizing their contributions. Take a moment to ask yourself what people often come to you for. Notice the skills or services others consistently seek from you. Think about the problems you are good at solving and the results you have helped create in past roles or projects or relationships. Value does not live only in job titles or resumes. It lives in outcomes, reliability, insight, and trust. Recognizing your value is not arrogance, it's clarity. Now let's bring this into focus with a practical reflection called the Value Proposition Canvas. Start by listing your key strengths and passions. Bring forward what you uncovered in the earlier weeks. Write down the skills you enjoy using, the abilities that feel natural, and the areas where your energy increases rather than drains. Next, begin noticing market needs. This does not require you to analyze entire industries. It simply asks you to pay attention to problems and gaps that exist in areas you already care about. Ask yourself what challenges show up repeatedly in this space. Notice who struggles with these challenges and who might benefit from your knowledge, skills, or perspective. From here, begin shaping a simple value statement, not in marketing language, but more of an orientation point that helps you see where you fit. You might begin with something like, I help a specific group by offering a specific skill so they can experience a meaningful outcome. Let me share a story that brings this to life. Raj is 38, worked as a successful sales executive. From the outside, he looked successful. Inside, he felt disconnected from his work. Something was missing, even though he was performing pretty good. During his Ikigai journey, Raj realized he had a strong passion for storytelling and a natural ability to connect with people. As he paid attention to his industry, he noticed a growing demand for personal branding. Professionals wanted to communicate more authentically, but many didn't know how. Raj began offering freelance consulting, helping people craft personal narratives that felt genuine and clear. Over time, his work became both meaningful and financially rewarding. He didn't start over, he simply redirected his strengths towards a real need. And this is how alignment often happens. Not through big dramatic reinvention, but through thoughtful reorientation. Once you begin to see where your Ikigai might meet opportunity, the next step is exploration. Alignment grows through curiosity. You might explore industries that align with your values. You might talk to people already doing work that interests you. You might experiment with side projects or freelancing or pilot ideas before making any major changes. Starting small isn't lack of courage, it's a form of wisdom. Learning often plays an important role here. Sometimes aligning your Ikigai requires adding new skills or experience that complement what you already bring. Growth keeps your purpose flexible and relevant. To add structure to this exploration, let's turn to the opportunity roadmap. Begin by defining your ideal direction. This may be a role, a type of work, or a way of contributing. It doesn't need to be a single job title. Next, identify the steps that would move you closer to this direction. These steps might include gaining experience, building examples of your work, developing new skills, connecting with mentors. Then create a timeline that breaks this path into smaller milestones. These are not deadlines meant to pressure you, they are markers that help you stay oriented. Then choose one small action that you can take this week. One email, or one conversation, or 1 hour of focused effort. Purpose grows through motion. As you consider this pillar, fears may surface. This is normal. You may worry about failure or financial uncertainty, or whether you're truly qualified. If fear of failure arises, remind yourself that every step offers feedback. If financial uncertainty feels heavy, remember that gradual transitions can protect stability. If imposter syndrome appears, return to the evidence of your experience and strengths. Confidence often follows action, not the other way around. And now let's slow down with a journaling practice called envisioning your ideal work. Set aside some time to imagine your ideal work day. Notice how it feels in your body. Pay attention to the pace, the environment, the type of work you're doing, and the people you interact with. Ask yourself, what kind of work leaves you energized instead of depleted? Imagine how it would feel to earn a living while staying aligned with your values and sense of purpose. Let me share one more story. Aisha is 32 and works as a product designer. She wanted to make a positive impact but felt limited in her corporate role. Through her Ikigai exploration, she recognized her passion for sustainability and her strength in designing user-friendly solutions. She began a small side hustle creating eco-friendly packaging for small businesses, and what started as an experiment grew. Eventually, she turned the project into a social enterprise that aligned with her values and financial success. Her work became both meaningful and sustainable, not because she chased profit, but because she aligned purpose with need. If creating a business or independent project appeals to you, consider sketching a simple Ikigai business plan. Reflect on the problem you want to solve and why it matters. Identify who will benefit from your work, name the strengths and experiences you bring, and consider how your efforts will be supported financially. This plan doesn't need to be complex. One page is enough to begin. And as we close today's episode, here's what I want you to remember. Purpose and practicality are not opposites. They can support each other. And your Ikigai is allowed to sustain you. By recognizing your value, noticing real needs, and taking small intentional steps, you can build a livelihood that honors who you are. Ikigai isn't about choosing between money and meaning. It's about designing a life where both have a place. Next week, we'll begin to weave all 4 pillars together and explore how alignment creates clarity over time. For now, trust that your purpose deserves stability and that a meaningful life can also be a sustainable one. Giatti Glow is powered by the Life Coach Store, which is owned by me, Barb Giatti. On my website, you can find all kinds of great resources for over 20 types of wellness coaches. Check out thelifecoach.store for more information.